Okay.
There you go.
We'll be talking about that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, anyway.
Let's go. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, yeah, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends.
Shally's the wallflower. He's not trying to dance or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I heard the music and I started to hide in my corner.
I love it. Boolean and Brews, Let's Talk Story. We are here, episode 2, season 2, or AKA episode 27. Shally was just asking us, we got seasons to this. I was like, yeah,
I like the Deuce better. Episode 2, season 2, episode 2.
So
it's an easy to remember number there.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Deuce.
And it's July 22nd.
That's right.
Oh, damn. Right. Okay, that's just way too deep now.
Oh my gosh, now I gotta Google that in astrology.
Season 2, episode 2, July 22nd.
Yep.
It's a quadruple deuce.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest tonight on the Boolean and Brews podcast.
Yahoo!
It is none other than the Godfather of Sourcing, Mr. Shally Steckerl. How are you, sir?
Cool.
Thank you for not saying grandfather, because I thought you were going to go that way.
He can't put me on because I'm older, so he has to go with Godfather.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, can't the Godfather be older than the grandfather, though?
It depends.
My son's a Godfather.
I don't think it's an age thing. I think the Godfather and grandfather could be...
A Godfather could be like 15.
Or the other way around.
True.
But a grandfather can't be 15.
Right.
No. This is true.
No. Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyways, so listen, man, we are so happy to have you on the show, Shally. And like last season, I kept on telling the crew, like, we got to get Shally on. I knew how you were busy and you stay busy all the time. And so I'm like, we got to open up the season with Shally. There's no doubt about it. And it's a good thing that we were able to get you on because we are honored to have you on the show. Listen, just a quick story.
You just needed to practice 26 times before you could have me on. That's all.
Listen, I just wanted to, wanted to share a quick
you didn't
story.
Want to make it.
Yeah. I wanted to share a quick story about Shally. And this goes back to SourceCon Atlanta. I think it was like 2014, 2015, maybe ish. So we are hanging out at SourceCon. DZ, Mr. Derek Zeller, tells me, "Hey, Shally is he wants to go to lunch." He goes, "You want to go?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to go." And so we had lunch, and it was great. It was a great conversation. R.I.P. DZ. But so during the conversation, Shally tells me that, because I was telling him, hey, I love sourcing. This is where I'm at. Like, this is where I want to take my career, whatever. And Shally was really gracious enough to give me a scholarship to the Sourcing Institute, which he runs. And, it was such a,
that's awesome.
I don't know, man. I could cry right now because that literally jump-started my career in sourcing.
Sure did.
It was the official christening of me when I finished his program. My career literally took off from there.
Nice.
I am not joking.
Remember that.
And
I remember DZ paid for your course too, by the way. Did you know that?
That's right. That's
what?
right. Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, that is so kind. Holy crap.
No, yeah. It was he told me, he's like, this guy Chewy, he's like, you gotta talk to him. He's gonna be going places, but he's not in a position right now where he's financially stable because he was in between jobs and everything. And so DZ was like, yeah, you gotta give him a scholarship. And we did one a year. So it was like, yeah, no problem, So yeah, he definitely, I mean, he's the reason that you got that.
Yeah, and listen, I
That's
wouldn't
awesome.
be where I am today if it wasn't for that jump start, because that's literally when, after I finished his program, like 2 months later, my income jumped. It doubled, literally.
What?
Yeah, it was wild. Like
Mm-hmm.
my wife was like just stunned. So, anyways, thank you, Shally. I appreciate you. I will always appreciate you. And we're just happy to have you on the show. Now, listen, I wanted to get started with some brew here. I just have a Blue Moon here. This is one of my favorite beers besides a Modelo, but I
Yum.
love that. But I have a Blue Moon here. Looks like Shally has some.
Ew, what is that?
What does he got over there?
Is that a monster?
No, it's a
Liquid Death.
Paulaner Munich Lager. It's one of my favorite
Oh,
Ooh,
beers in a can.
nice.
there it is.
I'm doing
Is that
Modelo.
local? Is that a local brewery there?
No, it's from Munich.
Oh, Munich.
Yeah, it's an
Oh.
original Munich lager. They, you know how they got their German purity law and the all the like ingredients can only be like 3 ingredients or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly how, but it's really, really, really good. Yeah, brewed in Munich. Best before born date. Okay, it was definitely best before I was born.
You have to send me that in the chat. I went to a pub with one of my friends. She's in Northern Virginia now. They moved from Williamsburg, but she ordered a German beer, and I was like, well, I'm going to try it too. And so I had it. It was so good, and I didn't write it down. I have no idea what I had, and I loved it. And I just keep trying German beers wherever I go, and I don't think I've found it yet.
Well, there's like Bavarian, and then there's you got Bavarian beers, which are very different.
Show
Then-
him your mug, Dean.
This is that looks very Bavarian, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very Bavarian.
I
Very
am-
Bavarian motorwork.
Yeah.
It was a wedding we went to. They were dressing up, LARPing, and they gave them out.
Larking. Love
LARPing,
that.
yeah. I don't LARP, but they got my name on it. It's not the right
Nice.
family crest, but
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Wow.
They spelled it DEEAN.
no, they
Easy.
spelled,
Light ale, I like that.
they spelled my name right. It's
Oh, nice.
just not my
A
family
white
crest.
ale. I've never had that before, Cece. Is it
So-
good?
That good?
it's another Einstock. The one you had the dark one last time. This is a white one. White ale.
Okay,
Interesting.
is it good?
Olgerd.
Kind of like a wheat beer, right?
Ready for it. Yes. Here.
Yeah,
Ooh.
mine did not
Ooh.
have the fizz to it.
That's
I
a good
guess
one.
'cause-
I do
yeah.
like this. I think I
love
got
it.
it. I think my husband picked this from Kroger. Can I talk today? So if anybody's looking for it,
I love it.
Kroger.
What do you got, Dean?
I'm doing Modelo.
Always a good choice. I
Yeah.
love it.
Dark or light?
Oh, my wife likes the dark. I like the light.
Oh,
I like the
yeah.
dark one,
Modelo
too.
Negro's awesome. It's so
With
good.
lime. Delicious.
With lime.
Don't
With
need it
lime.
with lime, but yeah, it would go with lime.
So listen,
Nice.
man, there was a lot that went on this past week, dude.
Oh my
Jeez,
gosh. I
like,
know. Did we talk
like-
about it? I'm like,
Are we,
what?
okay, are we
All I
talking
want to say
technically
is
recruiting and sourcing, or are we just going to go everything?
No, we're
no,
not
no,
going.
no. Let's not
Yeah.
go
No,
there. I'm
can't
go
just
world
gonna say
affairs.
it's
but
you know,
wow.
politics. There's always I don't know if you guys have been watching this, but every election year there's like a boost in the economy, like right up at the beginning of the. Doesn't matter what happens, politics aside or whatever, but like just the machine of the business machine kind of gets a little bit of a boost. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it doesn't, but it does seem to happen every year. So I'm kind of looking forward to that because it's been a bit
Buckle up.
rancid.
It's going to be a wild ride, folks. It's going to
Yeah.
be a wild ride.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a wild ride when you get crazy stories like this CrowdStrike thing that happened over the weekend. Holy
We
smokes.
can
Yeah.
talk about that. That definitely. we can talk
Yes.
If you were in the airport, if you were flying this past weekend,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Yeah. Holy smokes, man. Like what? Okay, that guy's fired. Whoever did the patch. Was it a patch? It was a patch, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Something
Can you
with-
imagine that conversation? Yo, bro. Yo, what's up? Hey, I'm gonna upload that patch we're talking about. All right.
Cool.
Okay, all right. He uploads it, and then he goes, "Yo, did you test that?"
What? Could you imagine? Oh my gosh.
You didn't we have to test it?
I mean, the pictures that I've been seeing at the airports and stuff, and the chaos that ensued
Insane.
after all that stuff.
Hey,
Holy
all I
smokes.
can say is Windows, man. Windows.
So-
like, just I'm all Mac, and so it didn't bother me one bit.
Not
Me
either.
too.
Not at all.
Okay,
100%
so this is
Windows.
hilarious. So number one, they're now saying a likely skipped step. Okay, some fake CrowdStrike employee is blaming Microsoft for it.
Well, okay.
It definitely affected Windows.
Yeah.
Yep.
8.5 million Windows devices.
Man.
Over half
That
of
doesn't seem
Fortune
like a
500
lot.
companies and many government bodies.
So
not-
11 of the 15 cabinet level agencies got hit in one way, shape, or form.
Insane.
11 of the
Holy-
15. Now, I mean, some of them recovered really quickly. DOD was like, all over that within minutes. But some of the other ones, some of the other agencies that are my clients, were scrambling, and the ones that didn't have any outages were helping the ones that did. So basically, they were out too. Because it's like it's like your spouse gets a flat tire. You got to go run help. You're flat. You're flat too. Even if you're on a flat tire, you're out of commission.
Yeah.
So
my
it was
company
out
recovered pretty quick.
It was U.S. Cybersecurity Agency itself, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. They all use the company software, so it impact them.
And the
the
weird part,
cabinet level agencies are the ones above that.
the weird part is that there was a really easy fix for it, and I'm surprised people to figure it out. Open to safe mode, go into a restore point before crowds, and you're done.
Yeah, but I mean, but if it was such a simple fix and it could have been done, then I mean, so what happens? You fix it on your side, but on the other side of things, it's not like, does it automatically fix everybody's problem? I don't think so.
Well, if you're all running laptops like where I'm at, then everybody would fix their own problem, which is pretty much what happened. As far as the main, the servers and stuff like that, well, that's obviously different. But as far as the individual computers, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Either we had to do a restore point, or
In person. That's the thing, is it's in person.
No, my restore point I didn't have to go in. Well, I'm
talking about the server side.
Oh yeah, the servers were in person, but
you had to do it in person, and that's the trick. We're so dependent now on these, on the cloud. The cloud is really all the cloud is a hard drive somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's still a hard drive, but it's like somewhere else. So somebody had to go to wherever that else is and do what they said. And like it's like the switches on your when you trip a switch in your basement or in your garage. You got to go over there and you got to flip it off and turn it back. That's literally it.
Someone had to
somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it.
Well, Sean Henry also posted their CSO less than 24 hours ago on LinkedIn, kind of like his thoughts and things. And it's actually kind of nice to see some of the other like higher level like security companies comment on his post. Like, it's all right, dude. Shit happens.
Did you test that?
Right. But that's
Maybe next time you do, the 80-20, upload it to 20% of the users until you fixed 80% of the problems. Then you can don't just upload it for everybody.
Why don't you just dummy machines and upload it to them first to see how it works?
They might have done that. I don't know if they did or not.
Screw ups are what restores trust.
How widespread it was, the odds of them doing that is pretty slim.
Oh, really?
I mean, it hit how many? If they would have done it to 10 machines, the odds are it would have hit at least one.
Yeah.
Honestly, all I can tell you is it just created a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Just a lot of noise.
I actually had friends leaving for Germany this weekend on Saturday. And so I immediately text them and I was like, is this messing y'all up this weekend? Like, what's happening? They're like, it's showing it's still on time. And they did actually make it. Like, they made it on time, same flight and everything. Nothing got screwed up.
I heard Delta got the brunt of this. Like,
I read that
airline.
too.
Delta has
so bad for them.
This is the least of it.
It's a big airline. It's so huge. There's so many flights.
Yeah.
Atlanta got hit pretty hard, but it's the busiest airport in the world.
Yeah.
So,
man, that's crazy.
Percentage wise,
yeah,
you got to expect that that's going to happen. It's a massive airport. I get, I get exhausted every time I travel because it doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna have to walk a mile.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
matter
that's
where,
right.
you know, just by the time you go through security and then get all the way to your gate, even though they have the train in between, you end up walking a lot.
I
Yeah.
hate the
It's
Atlanta
a big deal.
airport. I hate it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
do
why they have the what you call this, right? The little shuttles that go.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to take up a shuttle from someone who actually, you know, is late for a flight or
Mm,
has has special needs or whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. Besides,
yeah.
you do have to wait around for it. Most of the time, I'm running late anyway. Let's face it.
I am always so early, just because my anxiety is so high. And I'm that person that has to like find the gate and have it in my vision so that I know that I'm going to be okay.
You get there 3 hours early.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. Well, I have to travel an hour and a half to Atlanta anyway, so I'm like paranoid about traffic
Oh,
no
I
matter
would be
what
too,
time.
man. I would be
And
too.
then find a parking spot, one of those parking places, and then go in there and wait in that massive line. I hate that line. Sucks. I don't have the special
Clear.
fast pass or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you need
I
to
got
get
it
it.
clear.
I know. Am I going to travel that much? I don't know.
What's better
It's only
though?
$35 for 5 years.
Yeah.
30, 35?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's
$100.
really good.
Well,
Yeah.
you got. Oh, you're thinking of what's the name of that other one? There's two.
Pre-check.
There's
TSA. or
TSA
something?
pre-check and
TSA,
clear.
but then they have this clear. Don't do clear unless
You
you
ha-
fly a lot.
Shally, you said you had clear.
I have
$35
clear,
for 5
yeah.
years.
Clear is good.
Clear's worth it. It's a different line, so it's
Okay.
usually not as busy. Depends on. It's not in every airport though.
That's right.
I've had clear. I have TSA. I haven't been able to tell the difference.
Can't you do both? What if you have both? Pick one. Which one's better?
Which
Yeah,
line is the shortest?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
Usually
definitely
what
worth it. Your anxiety will go down,
Usually,
CC.
what happens
Yeah.
is I get in line, and because I'm a vet and a disabled vet, they usually
Yeah.
let me
It's
go to the
definitely
front.
worth it though, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to
Hey,
check it
CC,
out.
so what do we got? What do we got for TA, man?
Yeah.
Dude, like layoffs continue to happen.
They're
Like,
happening.
it is really freaking scary, dude. Like,
Where's
what
that
the
on my
hell?
list? Yeah, so I don't know if we talked about this last time, and I found this on some article within the last week, but it said the highest number of reported layoffs so far this month came from HR software provider UKG, with
Oh,
dual
okay.
headquarters
Coming.
in Lowell, Massachusetts, and Weston,
Yeah.
Florida. It's a 47-year-old HR payroll workforce management solution company. And they reported early in July that they're going to lay off about 14% of its staff to focus on critical areas of growth and to provide flexibility to actively invest in important new areas.
UKG bought a bunch of companies.
Mm-hmm.
Recently?
There was at least 8 of them that I can remember.
More than I thought.
They bought other companies that are kind of in the same space. So I think there was a little bit of that kind of,
Makes sense. Duplication of roles.
duplication of roles. Yeah.
Amdocs also disclosed that it's cutting 1,500 to 3,000 jobs, representing 5 to 10% of its global workforce as part of business optimization. Again, I would
What
love
does that
for
even mean?
I would love for AI to
Business optimization means profit.
listen to me and tell us how many times we say the same words for why companies are laying off. Warner Brothers Discovery Group, new round of layoffs affecting fewer than 1,000 staffers as part of ongoing cost-cutting measures. Less than 1% of layoffs will impact the company's core streaming platform, Max. Other divisions affected include finance, business affairs, production, with finance being being hit the hardest.
Dang.
Yeah. And another thing I saw popping up too, which I had put in kind of like random things, and maybe you guys have been hearing about this, but what's the name of the school bus manufacturer? Bluebird or something? Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you got me. I know what you're talking about, but you got me, man.
Yeah, the bird. So unions are becoming a thing right now.
Bird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so support for unions is
Mhm.
higher than it's been since the 1960s, with young people leading the charge. Supporting for organized labor is at a high not seen since the 60s, with 71% of Americans saying they approve of unions, according to Gallup. And then among members of Generation Z, unions have 64.3% approval rating, according to the Center for American Progress. My husband and I were watching something on YouTube. It was about the school bus. Now I got to look that up. School bus
It
manufacturer.
kind of makes sense though, because people are. I mean, we're drawing them towards that because we're leaving them in the lurch. You know, I was cut abruptly, and had no idea that it was coming. And I think if anybody's gone through one of those, like, all of a sudden you're here, gone today, here today, gone tomorrow, it makes you turn to to get protection somewhere. So I can see why the or why or what the attraction is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can see why people are turning to it, because it's a way to protect your earnings, your ability to provide for your family. We didn't used to need that as much, so people stopped paying attention.
Yeah.
But now,
back when we didn't need it was a time where people
we're loyal to
were
companies.
loyal and were valued. Now
Yeah.
there are a lot of companies that don't value and are not loyal to the people.
Or what's worse, they say they do.
Yeah.
Right.
And they tell you that they do, all the way up until 30 seconds after they tell you that you're out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was Bluebird. And workers at the Georgia
Bluebird.
school bus maker Bluebird approved their first union contract. That was in Fort Valley. That's what we were watching.
Georgia?
Yeah. It's
You know
right
how
near
big
me.
that is?
Very.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, this
crazy.
is not a very organized, and by that I mean labor organization. It's not a very organized state. There's been many attempts to get large organizations out here, and they have a hard time. So that's kind of a big deal.
United Steelworkers is what it is.
That makes
That's
sense.
a strong one. That's
Yep.
a big union.
Very.
So that was interesting. What else do I have for you all? Oh, I had promised that I would show you for PTO how to most optimize your PTO. I did find the meme, everyone, just so you know. So here
What
it
is
is.
PTO?
I put paid time off.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, really? Okay. So here we go. Here's one. And then also right here, and this was for the whole entire year. But for September, you need to take September 3rd through 6th off, for 9 days off. Now they're recognizing holidays and stuff that companies typically recognize. Then November for Thanksgiving, and then also the holidays over Christmas. So that's how you can optimize, everyone. Get really big.
I do the
days
same.
off.
I do the same thing. I try to take those days off. Like if there's, if we get like so for Labor Day we have the Monday off, and then we also have the Tuesday. And like I can be like, okay, I'm just gonna take that week off. So technically, I'm only taking 3 days off. So we can do that. So this is kind of what this is. It's PTO optimization. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
optimization.
So, that's good stuff. I'm still in therapy, by the way, for
Great.
having a hard time taking time off. But I'm
Well, now you
finally
can use this.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm finally taking time off next week, and
Good.
they've been bugging me to take time off, and I'm like, all right, bro, I better not come back. And
What do you think about this whole unlimited PTO thing?
that's a good question, Shally. I'm glad that you brought that up, because there's
I can tell you. Sorry, I'll let you go ahead. But I can tell you from the inside, from the boardroom side, when an employer is having a board level conversation, I can tell you what's going on when they do that. But I want to hear from you what you think about it.
Yes, no. So you can look at it two ways, right? You can look at it like, whoa, like I think somebody coming from like, oh, like I have to work 2 years just to get like, 10 days off or 7 days off, or whatever it is. Then there's the other side where you're like, ooh, that's kind of a red flag, like, man, they're like taunting you to take those days off just to see, like, okay, let's see if they take advantage of this, because if they do, it's kind of like a I gotcha
Yeah.
kind of moment, right?
Slacker.
You slacker. So like I use my PTO very, very sparingly, and I don't know, it's just me though, because there's a lot of people that in my company that take time off, and they just knock it out the park. You know what I mean? Rightfully so. You take the time off, you earn that time to relax and whatever. But at times, like, I feel like, man, like, are they like kind of like, even though like they're saying, hey, you can take off whatever you want, like take a month off, like
We're
we won't do
watching
anything.
you.
Like, I don't know, it's just kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm being big brothered sometimes, you know. But you know, I mean, not that my company is like that, but like, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. So
And I take it. I will take time off. I
yeah, you're
have
good, Cece.
no problem.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm just like, I will literally
I
go
guess it really
insane if I
depends on the
can't.
company too, Shally, right? Like,
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it depends on the culture. If the company's culture, it's easier to change something like that when there's a big shift or an acquisition or, otherwise like a major cultural shift
mhm.
that allows for that. But it's really really hard for a company to go from having documented PTO to unlimited, which basically is undocumented PTO or untracked.
Yeah.
What it is it's not tracked, is what it means. In a company organically, just because they wanted to change the policy, it's easier to do if there's a huge shift. So part of it definitely depends on the culture. However, there are some board level decisions that are made that make that really attractive for a company to launch as number one, a perk for recruitment. So when an organization, you'll pay attention and you'll notice sometimes companies that used to offer a lot of stock and are no longer able to do that, or their stock value is diminishing or whatever, they'll switch to offering unlimited PTO.
Huh.
And so it's kind of like a trade-off where they can see it's something that looks great when you're recruiting people and in practice never really actually is delivered. So it's a free perk basically. And then the other side of that, I guess the same side, but the other end of that is the administrative burden that it causes. So it reduces significant amount of administrative burden. And so for those two reasons, boards like that. But then there's also that, there's so many opportunities for uncertainty, ambiguity, misuse,
Yeah.
work-life balance issues.
Yeah.
And in my favorite, this has always been my favorite argument, is coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and this happened to me when I was the person in charge of a particular function, and there was nobody. That was my own fault. There was no subordinate that could actually do the job, and my boss couldn't do the job. So I literally was the only one that could do it. So me to take a period, for me to take unlimited PTO or any PTO for even just a day off,
That matter. Yep.
nobody could cover me. So I had to plan it so that I could do what I needed to get done to make sure that when I was gone, that part of the job was covered. And that becomes a real problem.
I think if you're offering unlimited PTO, you still have to. Unlimited PTO doesn't mean guaranteed.
Right.
It's not guaranteed, no.
Yeah.
There's got to be a plan in place. Okay, you 10 people are the only ones that can fill this function. Unlimited PTO, but we got to plan out to make sure we have enough people to cover X.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Or there's a caveat.
Wouldn't mean anything to me because, frankly, the odds are pretty good I wouldn't take it. I've got over 200 hours, and the reason why I have that little is because they put a cap on it. Otherwise, I'd be up over 400.
Yeah.
Some states don't allow it. Some states do have to have carryover. So legally, you're right. And also some mandates require that you're able to pay out unearned, or earned but whatever earned but not used vacation time. So what they do is they translate it to a certain minimum. So it comes out to your unlimited PTO is really 20 hours.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. There's a caveat. On average, our company employees take X amount of time, but we have unlimited PTO. Wink, wink.
It's unlimited.
Yeah.
Yeah, boss. I think is it okay if I take 2-3 years off? Is that okay?
I also think it's
paid. Yes, paid vacation. Yes, it's got to be paid vacation.
Right.
I always think about too that the companies that have unlimited PTO are gonna, limit their liability, because if they're an at-will employer with unlimited PTO, it's not, like you said, Shally, it's not tracked. So if it's not tracked, they can't pay out any PTO. So they can't, so if you get fired or you get laid off,
Yep.
they're not liable for PTO that they have to pay out too.
Yep.
So
Save money.
yeah.
Hence the board level decision. That was my point.
Well,
That's a good topic. We could go on.
I did want to shift to in-person events. So I did happen to read Recruiting Brain Food today, and Hung had a big list of in-person events, but it's global this time. So I'm just going to share that this time. So let me share my screen. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. So this is it. And we'll do that whole like one tab linky link thing again and put that in the notes. But
hasn't he always done it globally? I thought it was always a global list.
I guess it is. I just didn't know it existed until today, or like didn't realize.
He's pretty good at keeping up with this list. I don't know how he does it.
So I did a copy, and then I just went here and sorted by the United States just to kind of see what was coming up. So these are all the things that are coming up in July. All the way through, gosh, it's all the way up to 2025 here. So a lot going on.
I feel like late summer into fall is like conference season, man.
Bumping.
Like, there's just so many going on.
Yes.
Shally, what are you doing? What conferences are you doing this year?
Oh man, you want to hear a really sad story?
Well, I don't know. I'm tired of sad news.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's so sad. It's so
man.
pathetic. Yeah, so I had to take an emergency trip to take my daughter somewhere, and it was a last minute ticket that I had to get through Delta for the both of us. So I just go on Delta. I just go on the app and I buy 2 seats. I don't even. Yeah, I'm just like 2 seats. Let's go. It's. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't planned. I just went and bought this 2 seats. Show up at the airport, and we have one suitcase between the two of us, and they're like, "That'll be $45." And I'm like, "Say what? Excuse me?" And they're like, "Yeah, she doesn't have a frequent flyer or whatever, so she's got to pay for the bag." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I get that. That makes sense. Well, why don't we check the bag under my name?" And then they look me up and they go, "Oh yeah, you lost your status."
No.
So I had to pay for the bag, $45, but it gets worse. Then I get to the gate and I look at my seating zone. Normally I'm Sky Priority or whatever. Zone 7. I lost my status there. And then I get to the seats and I realize I really lost my status.
Oh, no.
I was 2 seats away from the rear of the airplane. And they didn't even sit us together because we didn't have any status. So I'm a million miler, okay? And I lost everything because I haven't traveled that much.
Oh my
So
gosh.
to answer your question, Chewy, not very many.
Wow.
Oh
I have
my
no
gosh.
status. I haven't traveled in so long that my medallion, whatever I can't even keep up anymore, is 0. So
Wow.
that's never happened in 25 some odd years of traveling.
Wow.
I've never been statusless.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
it was
think I have a
terrible.
status,
I was like,
though.
oh my God. I'm like,
Dang.
I can't even get a free bag. It was like so devastating.
Wowzers. You're
Oh
probably
my
like,
gosh.
dang.
I was looking forward to getting my seat, my daughter upgraded, and
Yeah.
nope, nothing. Back of the rows, back of the seat for you. We're not even going to board you. We're going to wait until the plane's taking off, and then we'll throw your bag on there, and you'll have to run and catch the airplane in order to get on it.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm supposed to go to Australia. I
Oh,
heard
fun.
from what's his name from Phil that they're
nice.
doing that event there, and I'm supposed to go to. So Shahid's doing Toronto again, so I'm probably going to do Toronto and Sydney,
cool.
and hopefully get my status back.
Yeah.
Man.
I would hope so.
Yeesh.
I'm just
Would you
doing
go
it
to-
for the miles, man.
You're in Georgia, right? You're
Yeah.
in Georgia
Back
too?
to that status.
Would you go to Wreckfest since it's close?
Oh yeah, but I would drive. Good point,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to go too. I keep saying it. It's only because I'm
I
trying
wanna
to speak
go,
it into
yeah.
existence.
I want to go. That's for sure. It's only like 4
I'm
hour
gonna
drive,
be
so
there.
that's well worth it.
Levy will be there. Jeremy's going. I can't
Yay.
Man.
Are you going to go, Chewy? You should go.
So that's 3 right there.
We should
Man,
go.
I don't know,
Assuming
man.
Australia and Toronto actually happen. Like I've been invited, but so far I don't have any airplane tickets or anything.
I'm freaking taking a week off in October for SourceCon because I'm going to be in California. So it's like kind of a homecoming for me. So I don't think I could swing. I
Do
don't think I
both.
could
I
swing it.
know. That's
Yeah,
hard.
my bank account ain't set up for two conferences this
And
fall.
Tennessee is expensive, right?
Yeah.
Hotels.
Hey, I wanted to talk about this one kind of popular news kind of thing.
Okay.
So, man, this is probably the first year that I have kept my eyes on the WNBA ever since Caitlin Clark came
Here
into
we go.
the fold. And I mean, my whole family is like Caitlin Clark stans. But anyways, because of, all that's happened in the WNBA with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all them, $22 billion in funding for the WNBA.
Wow.
That changes the game. That literally, because they were only making $50 million a year, and they were always underwater, and the NBA always had to fund them, right? Subsidize the WNBA. But now that they got $22 billion in buy-in from all these, big media companies, it's on and cracking now. So,
Nice.
I think that's pretty significant. Go
Yeah.
women,
And yes,
it's
the NBA doesn't know what to do with it. 'Cause-
Julie, we gotta, it's time to change industries again. I mean, you changed industry to become a sourcer. I think you and I need to go into the sports agent business now.
Let's do it. I'm down. Hey, listen, it's funny that you say that because I've been wondering. I was like, man, what's next after? Like, what if
Sourcing talent, but of a different kind,
Yeah.
Athletic talent.
There you go.
Yeah. God forbid I get laid off or whatever. What am I
No.
gonna do? Like, where do
Don't
I
even
pivot?
say that.
Do I do a SBA at Amazon or?
Yeah.
What?
So I've done some pretty funky like sourcing for really off the wall weird roles, but I got to tell you that there's the most interesting organization that I've had to create some sort of sourcing strategy for. Just interesting as in like fun, different. Was Cirque du Soleil.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, because so their recruiting strategy, or the people that majority of the people that work there are artists that are on stage, the performers, I should say. They probably call them something different, but they're athletes basically is what they are, and that's not something that you can like hire from. You don't just bring somebody like Shally doesn't just get a job at Cirque du Soleil and a few weeks later he can do a split.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or the bars or something.
Or like twirl around 20 times on a bar or jump from 500 feet or whatever. Like, so they have to hire for these very specific, I want to say particular talents. And one of the techniques or avenues that we brainstormed was to go to all of the regional qualifications and other types of for like the pre-Olympics. So last year, people that were qualifying to be on the Olympic team, right? And talk with the people that were fourth place.
Oh.
Because if they were in fourth place, let's say, for example, they're an Olympian, whatever candidate, or they're trying to get into the Olympics, and they got in fourth place, but they're not going to go. This is it, because the next one's 4 years from now, and if they're in that age group, right, so they might age out, but they're still good enough to be fourth in the world.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like talk about silver medalists, right? And the idea came up from the whole silver medalist concept where, we're always talking about the people who interviewed but didn't get the job. They might have been better at a different job, or they, could have gotten that job. It's the same thing.
Whoa, that's cool. I love that.
But literally, it's like, hey, it's not silver, it's bronze or whatever. Wait, no, gold, silver, bronze, whatever the fourth place
is. Nothing. Like
right? No medalists. Oh my God, I just thought of that. They're not silver medalists. They're no medalists.
Yeah.
But that's
Participant
because
medalist.
you want to hire somebody that can do 20 backflips in a row.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, someone that's been doing this for the Olympics. So that's one of those sourcing things you're never gonna do.
What are you gonna do? What is he doing?
Oh, he's gonna do 20 backflips. I know he can.
Says he can't do one.
Chewy used to be a cheerleader, right?
Yeah. For real?
He can't hear me, can he? He can't hear this, can he? Oh, he's gonna catch the recording.
No, he's gonna go put on his cheerleading outfit.
He's gonna what?
What is he doing?
Who knows? It's Chewy. Okay.
What are you doing?
Daughter up here turning on the central vac, and I like it's just
We can't hear it.
distracting.
Yeah, I couldn't
You
hear
can't hear it.
anything.
Jeez, man.
Well, while you were gone, I was telling them all about how you used to be a cheerleader,
Professionally. Yes.
a professional cheerleader.
Like I used to cheer people on, like sourcing and slinging Booleans and stuff. You know?
Yep. So my point is, you can't find those people on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Right.
Maybe you can, I don't know, but we certainly weren't finding enough of them. So there's these, that brings me to, let's get into this new business of finding athletes and or people that are otherwise skills that are not on paper.
I love
One of the
that.
clients I'm working with right now needs to hire people that have just very strange combinations of skills like statistics, math, physics,
Yeah.
all combined. So why not? Right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I wonder if
fun.
you probably have to follow people from a certain age through their career, right? To see kind of how they place. So you'll
That's
have
what
their
they used to
name.
do.
Most
That's what
people
they
that
used to
are doing competitive gymnastics or anything like that, you can find the lists online.
They used to, recruit them from earlier in their career, but this idea was to just show up when they were, I hate to say it, but when it was like their last chance to win,
Okay.
because after that they would
Yeah.
no longer qualify
What's
for that weight
next?
class or
Yep.
for that event or for whatever. And it's like, hey, congratulations, sorry you didn't make it, but you can make a ton of money working for us
Let's go to Vegas.
or Macau or
Yeah.
Atlanta or yeah, I don't know how
Awesome.
many shows they have now.
Hey Dean, he's gonna show us some stuff on sourcing links, man. Let's do it.
All right. So this is just an open screen. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in the word Vice. And I'm going to go ahead over here and and I'll tell you what this is in a minute.
A Vice?
No, it's a list of names in this particular case. So basically what this is, there's a tool called Native Links. Excuse me, let me make sure. Native Current.
Yeah.
Where you could set up to have your own basically Boolean strings pre-ready to go.
Ooh.
Like that one.
Ooh.
It's literally just a list of, all you got to do is have a list of the titles. In this case, this is all VP stuff. And then type it in something. In this case, I just used Writebach, which is an online text editor. I typed in Vice, and then I saw the yellow, went over, found the Excel sheet, and it just automatically creates a huge OR string.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Dean, Native Current used to work in LinkedIn. I don't know if it works anymore, but it had basically what you're doing now.
For
You could
diversity.
you could just like click it and tell it like I wanted to look for diversity or whatever, and it would target schools or whatnot.
Well,
and it would,
not quite that simple, but yes.
but
So
then it
here's
stopped
women.
working, and now this must be what it's doing. This
Well,
is
what's
awesome.
going on is LinkedIn made it so it couldn't work. So now what you need to be able to do is you have your spreadsheets. In this case, I put in women, and I think I was dealing with tech. I asked for tech associations, and it just listed them all. And then all you have to do from here is just copy paste. Now, keep in mind, Google's.
Did you tell it what the associations are, or it already knew?
It's in a list. It's in a Excel spreadsheet that I've
Right?
already
No, I'm saying, did you make the list, or did the list already exist?
Yeah.
No, I created the list. Well, let me take that back. You can. It does come. It's a Chrome extension with a diversity list that is not complete. I added to it, created a complete version. But I also have one for VPs, for C-level people, for Java, just different. As I find things I look for a lot that are big groups, I create an Excel spreadsheet and I link it to that tool so I can quickly and easily put it in there. So like,
That's awesome.
now
You
this
made
is
me-
not a complete Java list. This
Kind of
was
like magical,
just-
sort
That's
of in
what
a
I
way.
was thinking, Shally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was actually just a example. And so what you can do is copy that and then go into sourcing links, go up to search engine, since we're search engineering it, populate all and pick where you want to search.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Now, if you want to
dang.
search it and see who does a better job between Google and Bing, there you go.
Oh.
If
What?
you want to go down
How
here
did
and
you do
go,
that?
and excuse me,
BVG, baby.
if you want to just do Google, you can just do Google. You can do whatever you want. But the thing is, the bigger searches, you can create and save your bigger searches and just easily populate and do whatever you want with them. I mean, for me, if I was sitting there trying to create a search where I wanted to find women based on, let's see here, international women's orgs, that's a pretty big string to try to put together otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, how did I do it? It's real simple. I actually asked ChatGPT list all the international women's orgs. Then I copied it and put it into an Excel spreadsheet and stuck it in there, and there you go.
Nice.
damn.
That's
there
I
it
love
is.
that.
Boom.
These are tools that can help you when you are in sourcing. As far as sourcing itself,
That is
Hey, D,
Awesome.
can you show us how you made the comparison between Bing and Google?
yes, there's two ways to do it. Let me go ahead and I'll just do Java developer. So there's two ways to do it. One is through a site which is called bvsg.org, which is basically a way to see side by side the comparisons. The other way is if you add a Chrome extension called Double Shot onto your computer. Excuse me, Double Shot's being silly. This way. No, that happens. What happened is Double Shot may no longer be allowed Chrome Store, which would be interesting since I was just using it today.
This is giving me Ronnie. This is giving me Ronnie vibes right now.
So if Double Shot is not allowed in the Chrome Store anymore, that's new as of about an hour and a half ago. No, it's right there.
So,
So
they won't
this
let
is
you use
Double
it?
Shot, which is a link to a Chrome extension. Let me get it up here for you guys. DD. Where are you? The only part I don't, there it is. That will just allow you to compare strings. So if I take this
It
string
opens two
here
windows.
and I come back over here and I go into Double Shot and I put the string and search Bing, Google, it just does the same thing side by side.
Oh, damn. Okay.
nice.
I know, and I just found out, and I just realized why this didn't work the first time. It's because I didn't have it active. It wasn't an active extension.
Oh, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's got.
You
Yeah,
still
I forget,
use One Tab or whatever it's called?
yeah,
One
I
Tab- is it called
sometimes
One
forget
Tab?
what I have active and what I don't have active.
Yeah, Extensify. Sorry, that's the one.
Extensify.
You know where you can turn on and off because it happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I forget which ones
Too
are
many
I have active.
extensions.
Yeah, so that's
Yep.
why it didn't work the first time. I didn't have it active. But that's how you can
Wah,
compare
wah.
them. Sometimes Bing does a better job. Just be honest. Sometimes it's Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so boom. There it is.
Dean, I just shared the community search of native current in the chat.
Okay.
If you want to share that, that's a free, we can share that link too, but that's something that they're trying to source the community to add to.
Okay.
And then
just
you
so
can,
just so you know, just to make life really simpler on you,
yes,
because I like making life simple on people.
do it.
More
I'm
simpler.
going to try to do it. Let's see. I just got to remember which page it's on. The entire spreadsheet can be downloaded from in here somewhere. I'm not going to keep going.
In here somewhere. That's how I feel about all of your SSAR pages.
Well, I'm
In here
yeah,
somewhere.
It can
Yeah.
be downloaded. It can be downloaded from here somewhere. Oh, that's me. I did something stupid. Yeah, it can be downloaded from there somewhere. I don't know which one.
Amazing.
You have so
Many
many
of
of
them.
these. Why don't you pay and get them all organized?
Okay,
Do you have a
number
paid
one.
account?
Number one, I do pay for this because
You
I
do have a paid
paid
account?
for many.
Figured.
Number two, I don't have the time to try to organize 122,000.
But you do pay for it because it does the whole like remove duplicates and stuff for you.
Yes, I do try to remove duplicates, and I do go through once a week and get rid of ones that are no longer good. But that's as best I can do. I mean,
That's why I started paying for it because it like tells me, oh, this one's not good anymore.
yeah. I mean, I'm doing this for free. Do you know how much time this takes out of me? No.
I do.
Oh
Actually,
my gosh.
I do.
I can't
know.
imagine.
So
Yep,
yeah,
I do.
it's here somewhere.
That's awesome.
But let's remember
Search.
in homage, the best tool, your brain.
Yes.
Always remember that.
My brain is the best tool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all relative.
Number one.
Thanks,
I love
Dean.
it.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Dean. Awesome. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into
Yeah.
it. Let's get into Shally's story because, there's a lot of people out here that don't know, like, how Shally got started and
Yeah.
kind of.
Because it was so long ago
Who
that
are
it's like
you?
Yeah.
there's no stone
Your
tablets
screen-
that
no, never
survived
mind,
it.
it's back.
Yeah.
Your screen was frozen for a minute.
No, that's all right. We could hear him though.
Yeah.
Me?
Fine.
Yeah. So yeah, we want to hear it, Shally. How did you get your start? Because I think a lot of people are just like, they just know you as, damn, Shally's the dude.
Shally.
Like, it's just Shally. Like you say Shally, people know who you talk about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So how did you get your start? Like, was it like, did you get your start in recruiting? Like, how did it start for you?
Long time ago, I won a pool tournament. That's how I got into this whole industry.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Playing
That
pool.
was the beginning of time.
Playing pool.
1996, I think.
How does that work?
Well, I had just gotten back from my 27-month tour duty with the Peace Corps, and they give you some they call it repatriation money, because basically you go through everything that all your clothes are worn out, your shoes are worn out, so they give you some money to kind of settle back in and buy some clothes and get an apartment and things like that. And it was a time where the economy was pretty soft. It was pretty bad, actually. So I was trying to get a job and ended up not having a whole lot of luck with that. So I just got in my car and drove around the United States pretty much. I went west on the 10, up and over and back on the 40 and back down again to where my mom used to live, which was in Florida. And my last stop before going back to Florida, my last stop in the whole road trip was Atlanta. My former college roommate and one of my best friends growing up, he was just like, yeah, come on down, we'll hang out. And I stayed at his apartment for about a week. Ended up having spent pretty much all of my resettlement allowance. Didn't have any money left. I think I had maybe $20 to my name at the time, and enough gas in my tank to, start heading back towards Florida with my tail between legs, so I could move in, beg my mom for a free rent or whatever. And it was Friday before that was the weekend I was supposed to go back. And my friend Mark says, hey, there's this pool tournament over at, I forgot the name of the place, some one of those big, like back then when you had bars that had lots of pool tables. Yep. And they actually I don't
like
see that around.
A pool hall.
A pool hall that was like a fun sports bar and the whole thing. So he's like, let's enter this tournament and we'll see what happens. Now, when I was in the Peace Corps, the place where I was located was about 14 hours away from the nearest source of electricity, no running water, so there was not a whole lot of entertainment, except for this one guy who had a bakery, and for 4 hours a day would run his diesel generator so that he could create enough electricity to run some of the machines that he needed to run to make you can make dough by hand, but when you're making a lot of bread, it's easier to have those big machine things.
Yeah.
So he would run it for 4 hours a day. During that time, he also had enough electricity, I guess, to basically run an ice maker that would pump out a bunch of ice. He would then take the ice and put it into one of those big chest coolers and fill it up with beer. And so you could go there, and there was one light bulb and 2 pool tables and as much cold beer as lasted throughout the day.
Fun.
And play pool while you drank a nice cold beer. And so that was basically the only pastime. I mean, it was like that, or just go back to your, thatched hut and play Attack of the Killer Mosquito while you tried to not burn your house down with a single candle. So I played a lot of pool. Now, not only was this a lot of pool, but it also was a pool table that had, let's just say, a lot of rough zones, like divots and pockets, and the bumpers had like nicks in them. And so you had to learn not just how to shoot straight, but also how to get around obstacles. It was like the pool table obstacle course. So I got really, really good at leaving the ball in the right position for the next shot. That became like my superpower. So I never got as good as some of the guys that could put 3 balls in the pockets in one shot. I never got that good, but I did get really good at making sure that I knew where the ball was going to stop so that, my next shot was easier for me. So I would sink one and then get to the next one, so I could chain like that. Well, anyways, so we go to this pool tournament, and my friend Mark and I are literally sweeping the tables with everybody. We're beating everybody till the very, very, very last was a English couple. And Steve and Sharon. And Steve and Sharon were the, I guess not owners, but he was the branch manager of a staffing firm that had a branch in Atlanta called Kenda Systems. So we start bantering. Now, you know how British people are very like, they like to dig, and when they play pool, very like, what's the word, cheeky, or I don't know, lots of banter. It was a lot of banter. And of course, that did nothing more than just egg me on. So I kept making these really bad shots that I would then leave the ball in literally impossible places. So it just dragged on and on and on and on. It was the last game of the tournament, and I'm basically putting all these leaves where they couldn't reach the next shot. And Steve was visibly getting very upset. And we start talking about, so what do you do? And, I'm like, well, I'm between jobs. What do you do? And he proceeds and he tells me about his business. And I go, wait, hold on a second. Are you telling me that I'm out there looking for a job, unemployed for like 3 months? I literally have non-compete status from the federal government and I can't get a job. And you're telling me that you make money getting people jobs? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, this has to be a scam, right? And he goes, no. We actually, we get paid to find people jobs. Of course, I didn't understand at the time that it was the company that was paying for it, But I'm like, wow, this is, amazing. He goes, well, you have a business background, you're multilingual. Why don't you come into the office on Monday? And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even have enough money to last on Monday, but sure, whatever. So I went in Monday morning and I interviewed with Steve and Sharon, and they gave me the job. It was my very first job in staffing. I did win the tournament, which really pissed him off.
That's awesome.
But that may have been the reason why I got invited to come in and interview for the job.
That is cool. I never knew that. You see me? I love that.
That's how I got into the business.
Wowzers. So what were you recruiting then for, like, at the time?
Well, you're not going to believe this. COBOL engineers for Y2K.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember 1996, right? Yeah. I actually played my biggest win when I was there. My first year was a DB2 DBA.
DB2.
Nice.
Now, you gotta understand, this just came, like literally just came out. It was like the first year of this technology, so nobody knew how to find them because all the recruiters had. This is back in the day when everybody had the magic Rolodex.
Yeah.
They would just dial up their buddy, and they knew somebody who knew somebody. It was all word of mouth. It was all. So all the recruiters in the office, they were crushing with these, these jobs where they could hire people and make placements all the time. But when this DB2 rec came in, nobody knew anybody. So they gave it to the rookie. They're like, well, here, you take it. And I ended up going online on my compact laptop, which was bigger than a flat screen TV. It had a dial-up. 14K, 14 baud, right? Brr, yeah, exactly like that. It was like, brr, and I connected to a bulletin board and logged in, and I was like, does anybody know about this thing called DB2? Oracle so DB2? Funny. And one guy was like, well, I've heard of it, but I don't have any experience. However, if you go to this other board and ask for this guy, he's getting into it. He might know somebody. So I dial up to the other board. I connect. I'm like, hey, I'm here on recommendation from this other one. I was told that this was, you got to understand, this was 1996. And to this day, I still remember this guy's name, Sashi Joshi, because, well, I'm about to tell you. Does anybody know who Sashi Joshi is? And then Sashi's like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, do you know anything about this thing called DB2? And he goes, oh, yeah, I've been doing that for 6 months. It's great. I love it. I'm like, well, we have this position where we need to hire somebody, on a contract for an indefinite amount of time with a company called, hold on to your pants here, MCI. Remember MCI?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the multi-level marketing company that became a telecom.
Yeah,
right?
It's so crazy.
What? That's so weird. I didn't know that.
So he's like, oh, interesting. All right, yeah. Well, how much does it pay? And I'm like, how about like $100 an hour? And he goes, oh my God, that's so much more than I'm making now. He's like, I'm making $60 an hour. He's like, I'll take it. I'm like, all right. So I got it. He emailed me his resume. I went into the office the next day. got to understand this was a sneaker net. Okay, so I literally am walking into the office with a floppy disk and Sashi Joshi's resume on it, put it into the computer, format it in Word 3 or whatever version it was at the time. Actually, it might have even been Word Perfect, come to think of it.
That's right. Word Perfect. Damn.
Word Perfect.
What?
And then print it out, because there's no email, print it out and fax it.
Yeah.
To
Whoa.
MCI, and they go, "What? This guy is awesome. Hire him right now." Bill rate was $300 an hour.
What?
Pay rate was $100 an hour.
Dang.
This is in 1996? Wow.
Nobody knew how to do this stuff. It was so early on, and the
Man,
guy
that's like more than
loved the
freaking.
job.
That's more than machine learning, dude.
It was like triple. The net was triple. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just crazy.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
So that was it. So up until then, I was the rookie, and then I got that, and everybody that used to laugh at me because I came in with a floppy disk. Like here goes Shally with his floppy disk. All of a sudden, now I'm making the biggest margin in the history of the entire company, and before you know it, I had the biggest net spread, and these were all contract jobs in history.
Wow.
The branch was number 32 out of 32. And by the time I left, we were number 2
Nice.
out of 32.
Damn.
Because of all the stuff that I started.
What was
to
that?
do.
Hey,
So that was
Shally, what was that first check? What was the first check? How much was that for?
$40,000.
Wow.
$40 fucking dollars? Are you kidding me?
$40,000 in one commission check.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
Took it to the bank, paid off my car, boom.
Holy crap.
Holy
Yep.
shit, dude.
That's
It was
amazing.
Wowzer.
That was the beginning. After that, I was like, man, this is easy.
And you were like, I've got $20
Holy
today, I
crap,
have $40,000 tomorrow. Let's go.
Yep.
Dang.
You were in
And
like
come
a
to
chat
think of
room.
it, that was not my first paycheck. It was my first paycheck after not being, because this was all draw against commission, remember, back then in the day. So my
Yeah.
first paycheck was like whatever the minimum was, and I had to pay that back.
Right.
Yeah.
After 3 months or whatever. But this was the one after that, and paid back
Wow.
my draw, and I was like sitting pretty for a while. So yeah, that got me started in the whole industry of finding. Honestly, it came down to finding people that can't be found by any other means. That's literally what that was the beginning. That's how sourcing was
How did you
created.
How did you even know to go to like a chat room? Like,
Yeah.
what were you? How did
Back
you?
then,
even,
it was the only thing you could do.
But were you
there
on
was no
AOL?
other-
Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, I want to say, was it Mindspring or was it no? Mindspring came later.
This is how you know you're talking to a bunch of youngins. They don't know how to do this.
Like chat.
I think it was before Mindspring.
I mean, I did have AOL back in the day.
So did
but
I.
before that, like, what was before AOL?
I think AOL and Mindspring and all that were right around the same time. But when you dial into the bulletin boards, you actually dialed into the phone number, like your phone
Wow.
number, 678-555-1212. You dialed into that bulletin board, and somebody ran that bulletin board on a server.
Damn, that is
Gosh,
freaking wild, man.
that's neat.
Yo.
Do people
That
still
was
do
it.
that? Is that
That
still
was
a
the
thing?
beginning of then.
So
There's bulletin boards still, but they're not dial-up anymore. They're all, through other protocols.
yeah. So let's fast forward though, Shally. Like, so how did so doing that?
Earthlink.
How did your sourcing?
It was it Earthlink?
It was Earthlink.
It was Earthlink
Oh,
before
Earthlink.
Mindspring.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn! I remember Earthlink, man.
It was,
Sound
and they're
of
from
Earth-
Atlanta, by the way, I think, or they were.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was it. Sorry, you were
Yeah.
going, Chewy?
That's wild. So kind of fast forward, knowing that, so you're freaking in these dial-up, I don't know what the hell it was.
Chat rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, these chat rooms,
Bulletin boards.
bulletin boards. Yeah, bulletin boards. How did your sourcing evolve from there? Like, you went to these bulletin boards. Like, what was the next thing? What was the next frontier for you?
Yeah, after bulletin boards, there were other types of chat protocols. Like I don't know if folks remember ICQ.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
ICQ.
played on
ICQ.
ICQ. I did do that.
Yeah.
So that was a little
I
bit
did.
later,
Look at
a
Dean.
couple of years later.
I've got Dean. My notification for when I get a text message is that ICQ sound. I'll play it for you the next time I see
Oh,
you.
there it is.
That's actually, I'm just laughing because they're excited to know something that's over there. And I'm like, what?
That was the first, I don't know, Skype or whatever you want to Slack. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AOL Messenger, ICQ, and then there was 6degrees.com, which Reid Hoffman wants you to think that he invented social networking, but nah, he did not. 6 Degrees existed in 1998, I think, and it was the first social network based on 6 degrees of separation.
Oh,
Also part of what was called the Dunbar experiment, which led to the Dunbar number, which is the
1997.
maximum amount of connections that was when it was started.
Yep, 1997.
6 degrees.
Andrew, whatever the heck his last name is.
And that was the very
founded
first online social experiment.
1997.
6 Degrees. So, like, the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
yeah.
I know someone who knows someone who's in a movie with, whatever. So that was the whole premise of that. And it didn't last very long, but there was a lot of chatter there. There was The Well was another big known bulletin board. Then there were Usenet groups, which later got acquired by Google. It was usenet.google.com for a while. It just kind of evolved. Online Career Center, OCC, which became Monster. And Net Temps, which became Hot Jobs, which became Yahoo.
Yeah.
And Career Builder, Net Temps actually became Career Builder. Sorry. Something else became Hot Jobs.
Yeah, I think
I might get those confused. But anyway, so yeah, Net Temps, and Monster, Career Builder. It just, kind of went on from there. Dice is old school, man.
Yeah, Dice
is
is old school. I don't know. I feel like a Career Builder didn't Career Builder come before Dice though?
It was Net Temps, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
I know Warren Bear. He lives in Atlanta here, and he's the one that sold it.
That's crazy.
To change names.
That's crazy.
He was like one of the first .com millionaires in the Atlanta area that made money off of TA.
Yeah.
But you know what? Honestly, if people would always say, Career Builder is going to eliminate recruiters. Monster is going to eliminate recruiters. NetTemp's going to. Everybody wanted to eliminate recruiters. This was 1997, 1998. They've been trying to kill me since then.
Yeah.
Still here.
Now it's AI.
I know. I was waiting for you,
AI
They're still
Chewy.
trying to kill me. Yeah, they're still trying to kill me. AI is going to take over recruiting. Yeah.
Okay, so with Career Builder and all the evolution of the job boards, your Monsters, your Career Builders, your Dices, from that point, when did sourcing and the techniques come into play? Recognizable.
This is before that. Yeah. So I didn't use a lot of those job boards because I worked with a search firm and they didn't want to pay for it.
Right.
So that's what was competing. That's what we were competing against. And it was back then. There was Hotbot and Alta Vista, the first search engines. And when Google first came on the scene, I want to say 2001. They might be a little bit older than that, but 2001, 2002, I was, all over that, talking about figuring out ways to extend the search. And basically that's the thing is I've always tried to figure out ways to break things so I can learn how to extend their use.
Did you use Boolean though? Back
then in the early days, that's really all there was. There really wasn't anything else. It was just and
1998.
It was Google?
Yep.
Yeah, and Alta Vista kind of started dying off when Google pretty much
killed
pushed them away.
Steamrolled them.
But Boolean just quickly gave place to all the search syntax, which is what I did. I discovered a lot of the syntax, and I wrote the book. I wrote the Job Machine Cheat Sheet, which was a expose on the unwritten commands that until that day hadn't actually ever been published on Google syntax. I had a mentor whose name was Frelar Ravia, who was a professor in computer science in Belgium, and led a group of people that to this day still call themselves reverse engineers. You ever hear of that?
Yeah.
Reversers. So, I was part of the original reverser crew from way back then, trying to figure out how to reverse engineer technology.
Dang.
And that's how I ended up getting into all the commands in Google, wrote the cheat sheet. and just kept kind of going and going. So I never really got into the job boards because they cost money.
Yeah, they cost money. Yeah, because we were, you know, as sourcers, we're all about free 90 free. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, that's basically we're trying to game the system by like, dude, I'm not going to pay for this shit. Like,
I just never could. I mean, you know, the job didn't come with a seat on, you know, Monster or Career Builder or LinkedIn or whatever. It just never did.
Yeah.
It was always the alternative too. And I was fine with that. I'm still fine with that because I believe strongly that the point is to find candidates where traditional means don't work. And if you're using a job board, that's considered traditional means. So put me somewhere else that isn't the mainstream. That's where I want to go.
yeah.
Even to this day, if some of the customers that I have now, they're like, do you need a recruiter seat? I'm like, not really. I mean, I can use it if you give it to me, but quite frankly, I probably won't.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's. Go ahead, Cece.
I was going to ask, so like back then, if you couldn't use all the tools and all the things and you're in an agency, like how hard were they on you with like metrics and stuff back then?
When you're bringing every company record, they don't ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Metrics come in when you're not performing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
What it was like back
I'll tell
then.
you what, though. So my second job, there was a CEO who later on tried to run for governor of the state of Georgia, and I was generating over $1 million in revenue single-handedly, just on my own desk. It's $1 million desk, which a lot of people, you know, I mean, that's like a pretty big number for executive search and staffing firms. If you have $1 million producer, it's a big deal. So he came in and he's like, well, we need to try to increase revenue. And I was running the entire region and doing both jobs, the sales and the recruiting. He came in and he said, we need to get this client to pay more. We need to increase the margin on these jobs. And I told him, I said, that's not going to work because we've already had a long-standing relationship with it. It's like changing the prices midstream for what reason, you know? Let's go find new business. Let's use this business to get other clients and charge them more. But you can't just like raise the prices on someone that you're already doing business with. And he was like, oh, if you don't do it, I'll find somebody else who will. And I was like, So that was the one time that I think metrics kind of got the better of me because he wanted to make more money. It wasn't like we were losing. We definitely weren't losing money. I mean, it was profitable. And I kept pushing back saying, we can't be doing this both sides. If you want to grow, we need an account manager and a recruiter. Like I was doing full desk.
Oh,
so
wow.
in order to grow, you just get somebody who's dedicated to the relationship and somebody who's dedicated to the candidate. That's how you grow. That's the first hire that you make is to split the desk. And he didn't want to do it. He just wanted to make more money off of my seat, right? So that's why I ended up leaving staffing. That's what drove me out. At that point, I was like, this isn't for me. I can't go back to somebody that I've built a relationship with and have been really successful with, making tons of money with. They're happy, I'm happy, and just go to them and say, I need more money. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cut your hourly rate by $10.
Yeah, because my boss wants a better margin.
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving and never looked back. That's how I got into the consulting side of things.
Man.
Went into consulting.
And that was a wrap. Like, you know,
Never looked back to staffing.
Never looked
Not
back.
I consult with staffing firms that I never went back to being a full desk recruiter.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, so I just kind of want to fast forward. And listen, we've been talking a lot about AI and things. And, you know, we had Jan on the show last season. And, you know, he started this firestorm of AI's coming to take your job. You're not sourcers. No, they're done.
5 years.
Like
5 years.
You know, I'll give you 5 years and your job will be done.
They said that in 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
How much longer do you want me to keep counting?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So like, you know, I don't know what it's been. And I don't know if you Dean or Cece, if you've noticed this too, but they're like this, there seems to be this like, I don't want to say there's a downward trend of sourcing, but like, sourcing used to like 3-4 years ago, sourcing was like, woo, let's go. Like, but it seems like today it isn't as
Fire.
as it was.
Nothing's changed. What happened was the name changed, but the job hasn't. So it used to be sourcing was a discrete function, separate than recruiting.
Yeah.
And people who have no idea what they were doing took over the function and made it recruiting. And so it became entry-level recruiting. They just called it sourcing,
right.
But it's nothing more than entry-level recruiting.
Yeah.
That, in 96, 97, those people were called front desk receptionists or coordinators. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that literally, Dean, you're going to crack up. Remember cut and paste when it meant cut the resume header off and paste your company logo on it? Yeah. So that later on became, the modern sourcer. And these are the people that are, getting $20, $30, $40 an hour for doing administrative work. That's always been there. That used to be the coordinator. It used to be the receptionist. It used to be whatever. It doesn't matter. It was this entry-level job, and it's always existed. It's a junior recruiter. It's always existed. They just started calling that sourcer, but a real sourcer that actually does what we can do on this call, it's never lost its demand. I mean, I'm still continuing to get offers for $350 an hour to do sourcing. It's just, it doesn't change, because when you know what to do and you are finding people that can't be found, that's the thing. If I can find people that can't be found any other means, then I'm providing something that's an exclusive service. If what I can do can be found by somebody who has not even a high school education by just simply typing one keyword into LinkedIn, then you don't need to pay somebody $350 an hour. So it's never changed. It's just been renamed. So the job that we used to call recruiters are now account managers, talent acquisition. Help me out here, Dean. Talent acquisition partners.
There's
another advocates,
whatever. That's the new recruiter. And the old recruiter is now the sourcer.
Yeah.
But the job that we do, whatever you want to call it, it can't be replaced by a machine, at least not for the next. I don't even want to put a time limit on it, but Robert Kurzweil said in his book, The Singularity, that at some point the intellectual capacity of machines would equal that of humans. That singularity was supposed to come, I think it was 2030 or something like that, 2035 or whatever. We're actually not on track to hit that. We may get close to somewhere where there might be what they call a general intelligence. You know how right now a lot of the things that we talk about that we say are AI, that's actually just generative AI. It's just language processing.
Right.
It's not an actual intelligence.
Right.
It's machine learning and these other things that look
steroids,
like. But we are approximating the possibility of. That's right. Yeah, we are approximating the possibility of having an artificial general intelligence that can not only understand context but also subtext and ideate. In other words, imagine things that haven't been previously documented. But that's still maybe 5 years from now. I mean, GPT-5 is going to be really groundbreaking because of the scale, the amount of processors that are going to be online. So it's going to be able to find. It's like a calculator. Imagine the first generation calculator could only do 4 digits. So 20.10, 20.10. Then the next one can do 8 digits. Then the next one can do 16. Then the next one can do 32. That's what's happening with GPT. GPT-5 is going to be that exponential leap that allows us to look at larger patterns that we just never were able to look at before. And that is allowing the discovery of a lot of things that we normally wouldn't have even thought about because we couldn't look at that data. We can't see that data. But it's still not general intelligence. It's still not the kind of intelligence that's going to create ideas. It can understand subtext, but it's not going to make the logical leaps necessary to go from to draw a conclusion, if you will. For example, Watson. You guys remember when there was a lot of talk about Watson IBM Watson, and how it was like approximating the human brain because it would take a guess when it was 75% confident in an answer, and it would provide an answer that sounded realistic. That's what ChatGPT is these days. That's what these AI models are doing now. And they're just getting, instead of 75%, it's going to be 80%, 85%, 90, 95%. But that still doesn't mean that it's going to be able to ideate, right? And that is the next generation of AI. We're a long way away from that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like I don't want to be offensive about this. Just very pragmatic. Just very pragmatic. If the world was going to have a machine that was generally intelligent, do you really think the first thing that it would do is get into our business?
Let's go. That's true. The military would have it.
It would be military. It would be healthcare. There would be so many other applications. Now, I can't tell you what or where, but I do actually currently work with some of the larger programs out there in quantum computing. And they're still a long way away from being able to figure this out.
That's what I thought.
And we're talking about the world's largest supercomputer. Not talking about ChatGPT. I'm talking about something that is not commercially available, that is not used for civilian purposes. And it's a long way from understanding context and being able to give you an answer to an ambiguous question. And what's more ambiguous than find me a candidate that can do this job?
So, for whatever it's worth, I'm going to echo Shally's statements just now, not based on who I work for, but based on my own background, still in knowing people in places I can't talk about. He's right. Mm-hmm. We're not even close.
Yeah.
And if anybody would be, it would be organizations I'm not allowed to talk about.
It's not going to get to us. It's not going to get to recruiting. It's not going to get to what we do for a while.
You know when it'll get to recruiting? When my kids
50 years from now
is ready to
Wow.
Let's go.
Yep.
I know, I'm here for that. But you guys,
the thing is, it looks really good because we went from a 4-digit calculator to a 36-digit calculator.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You made me think how
that's a really good analogy.
Naive I am to think that like ChatGPT, now that I'm just thinking about it, was like the first one ever. You know, like
it wasn't the first one.
Right.
Ever. This was
and I just never thought about that though.
The technology
until now.
for ChatGPT existed in 1956.
That's insane. Like I just didn't think about it like that though.
Have you guys ever heard of the Turing test?
Mm-mm.
So look it up. The Turing test is a test that they applied during World War II to be able to determine whether or not the entity was a machine or a human. So if in 1941 we were having conversations about whether or not we can detect if something is a human or a machine, and we're still having that conversation, tell me exactly what's changed in 80 years.
Yeah.
We still have the Turing test, and nobody has passed it. It hasn't been passed in 80 years.
That's neat.
So somebody eventually will. There will be eventually a machine that can. There isn't one now, and it's not going to be for a while.
It's going to be
but we don't need we don't need Terminator or an artificially intelligent robot to do our job for us. What we need are machines that can accurately help us do our job, that can repeat those tedious tasks, right? Like Magical. You're a big fan of Magical.
Yes.
Why? Because it removes all that stupid copy-paste data entry stuff that just sucks up our time.
Yeah.
I track my little Magical. I don't know if you still do this, but I track my little Magical how many hours.
Yeah.
It's saving me on average 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's great.
Of just typing.
Yeah.
That is a robot. And they're getting into AI stuff now, which is to actually recommend automations that are already predetermined. So it's looking at what's called user intent. Oh, looks like Shally's about to click here. Let's suggest this automation.
Yeah.
Now that's not intelligence. That's just a machine doing what it was told to do.
Right.
But it's pretty cool, and it helps me do my job
Yeah.
a lot faster.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Heck yeah.
I love it.
I don't want to hammer nails every day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, Shally, what would you say today's sourcer, what does it take to be a good sourcer today with the evolution of AI and things like that? Like, what are some things, if you were to look for a sourcer, what are you looking for? What are those skills?
Well, I've unfortunately had to be in that situation both before and after the decline, right? So I was looking for a sourcer when I'm looking at you, both of you, when I was hiring a sourcer and neither of you would take my call.
What?
Stop.
Remember that? Remember that? And I ended up having to, interview like 720 people.
What?
And then I had to hire a sourcer after that when there were so many people unemployed and everybody applied for the job. I've been in both situations. And the same thing applies both times. It applies to the best and it applies to the worst. It's the same thing. You have to have a tenacity, the will to just not say that's not possible, or just continue lifting back the onion peel and just look at the next layer, look at the next layer. Giving up after trying one thing once, that may work in a lot of jobs, but it doesn't work in sourcing. So that's really the number one thing that I'm always looking for, is that curiosity combined with that tenacity. It's really not even a skill. It's just a mental attitude. It's the inability to take no for an answer. If you look at what sourcing was back in the days of Alta Vista and or not, it was building these, like what Dean was just showing us there, that long that's a nested logical disjunction. A disjunction is a bunch of ors, and it's nested because it's got parentheses. It's a nested logical disjunction. That long, complicated logical disjunction, that requires some logical thinking, right? It's the exact same. Arriving at that search before whatever you guys called it. What was that tool you just showed us, Dean?
Sourcing link.
The one that had all the
pre-constructed search strings.
Yeah, the pre-constructed search strings.
Sourcing links.
No, I'm sorry. No, we know about that one. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the one that you put the list of all the agencies and it built it.
Oh, that was native current.
Okay, so before native current put together your Booleans for you, people like us had to actually type them out. And we typed it out, hit enter, it didn't work. We added something, it didn't work. We took something away, it didn't work. It's exactly what you're doing with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The job hasn't changed. The thing that you knew how to do when you were fiddling around with search strings to add and remove terms is the same thing you're doing with generative AI to add or remove, pieces of the question. It's the exact same. So the skill is the same. It's that continuous evolution, that grit, that perseverance, that curiosity. Well, what if I do this? What if I do that?
Right.
My buddy Glenn and I, Glenn Guttmacher and I, have this running joke. We've been working together for so many years, decades. And we have this running joke where we always say, people think that sourcing is this like scientific eureka moment, when in reality, it's really more like, I wonder what happens if I do this.
It's the mad scientist approach.
Wonder what if I do that, what happens? And you do that 500 times because you don't want to have to do it 500 more.
Yeah.
That's literally what it comes down to. So you just keep iterating until something, until you figure something out. And isn't that how you guys all started doing ChatGPT?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Same thing.
Yeah, and
hasn't changed.
It's the thing, like younger sourcers or beginning sourcers always ask me, like, what is it, like, what do you do differently? I was like, I experiment. Like I just kind of want to keep on going and going and going until I
A/B testing.
Yeah. And that's what it really comes down to, right? That's what sourcing is being able to kind of take something, like you're going to iterate one search. And you're going to say, okay, well, it's giving me too many results. What do I do now? Okay, I'll do this. I'll take this out, whatever.
That's exactly right.
And so, like I think sourcing is really experimental, in a sense.
It's called the scientific method.
It's controlling your search result.
Exactly.
Like
So
you control it.
I always like to say that sourcers are the software engineers of talent acquisition.
Yeah. I like that.
Because
it's experimental. You come up with a thesis, then you come up with an antithesis or antithesis to disprove that, and then you come up with a synthesis.
Yeah.
that arrives at the conclusion. And it's literally just an evolutionary method. You keep doing that over and over and over. And over. I think people might be here. Oops, they're not. Maybe they're over here. What if I try that? Okay, now maybe they're over here. And eventually you arrive at you do eventually have a moment of like, oh my God, I can't believe that's there. How many of those have you had, Dean, where you're like, what? Somebody put that on the internet? Why?
Why?
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
That happened to me not that long ago, actually. My wife and I were working on a project, and she sends me this text message. She's like, check out this page. What do you think? And I click on the page, and I open up this page, and it's literally a list of names. And I'm like, I wonder who these people are. And I click on one of them, and then I peel back the onion, and it turns out to be all of the heads of department for all of the organizations that work on this one particular project.
Wow.
In one page. What? So literally I could have been searching for months until I found all those names, or I land on that one page with all the names right there. Like, what?
Fun.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you can't start out by saying, I know that page is out there. I'm going to find it by doing this. I love it when people come to me and go, what's the best search string?
Yeah.
That's like,
let's figure it out together.
Yeah.
The best search string.
What's the best tool for finding contact information? Same thing.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's an even better one. But Dean, I do know what the best search string is. The best search string is the last one you used.
There it is.
Because you stopped searching after that. You got what you needed.
That's what I do. I'll save
I
mine
found
by
it.
date.
I don't need to search anymore. That was the best search string.
So I never forget. I save them by date because I'm like, I keep iterating on them. And I'm like, what is the last one I did? Because that's where I left off. That's literally what I do.
Yeah.
Do you still use Google History or no?
I don't use Google History.
I don't either.
Yeah, I used to do that. And then I discovered Vortimo, and I just never looked back. I just go straight. I just leave Vortimo running all the time.
I don't even know what that is.
And Vortimo will actually.
How do you spell that,
it'll
Shally?
remember. Vortimo.
Okay, Vortimo. Put that in there, bro.
OSINT tool Chrome store. Is it an extension?
It's two extensions, but the one that I'm talking about right now, Vortimo, is basically remembers. It takes a screenshot. It's a virtual screenshot of every page that you visit, and all of the spider.
Oh.
So like how did you get there? What query did you use to get there? Where did you go after that? Right, and it saves all. Not only does it save all your searches.
Damn, that's dope.
On any
have
search
to start
engine,
using that.
but it saves all of the results too.
It's not in the store anymore. It actually is going away. So if you have it, don't. I've got a lot of.
When does it go away? Why is it going
If
away?
I keep them, it still works.
What am I looking at then, you guys? This is some
Why is it
copycat?
going away?
I don't know. I just looked up. It said it's going away. And when I tried to find it in the Chrome store, it's not there anymore.
But I'm in
Wait
it.
a minute. Are you sure it's the same one?
Well, let's see if I spelled it right. Spell it.
Here, let me put it in the thing.
Isn't it
Can I link?
Vortimo?
That's what I did.
Yeah, that's what I have. But let me give you the link.
Yeah, no, it's
Can
not
I
in the Chrome
paste
store
something
anymore.
here?
Then go to the chat. I just put it in there.
Here.
Is it the same thing?
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
me and you did the same one.
That's it. How about that one, Dean? Is that
Hang
still
on,
there?
I gotta find the freaking stupid chat thingy on it.
Don't tell me it's going. Well, actually, you're right though. I have it downloaded. So
Right.
Vortimo.
I hope it doesn't go away,
Vortimo.
Oh, Vortimo, that I have. Never mind. I thought you said
it's still
Vortimo.
there. Okay,
Yeah, that's
Woo!
still good.
You scared me. And then there's another one called AutoVort, but that's a little bit more.
Yeah, because Vortimo. Well, are you talking about Vortimo, the OSINT tool, or Vortimo?
Vortimo, the one that remembers everywhere you've been.
Okay, I don't believe that's the OSINT tool.
It looks like it.
They
Yes,
say
it is.
they say
Yes,
they're
it
an
is.
OSINT
It is.
tool.
I take that
Okay.
I'm
back.
not
It
really
is.
sure I would call it OSINT, but
Well, it
Yeah,
says
that's dope.
when you open it up in Chrome, it says Vortimo/OSINT tool, and
Yeah.
that's how I know it. That's why when you said it, I'm
Dang.
like,
it's got some pretty cool features that are like overlaid on top of your page. Like for example, you can right click on any image and EXIF, get the EXIF content. But
Neat.
the reality is that what I use the most is the remembering part.
Right.
Like Google
Yeah.
History used to be. I don't even count on that anymore. And partly it's because I use so many different computers. I might be sourcing on my iPad or my iPhone or whatever. I might be logging into my Gmail or my work account, so I don't even. Part of the problem is I don't even remember what browser I was using when I was doing the search.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But with Vortimo, it keeps everything in that one.
Can you easily
Interesting.
tab.
click on it and it will open up or something? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Didn't Jim teach
Yep.
us about something where like it would save stuff? Do you remember that, Chewy?
I don't know. I forget.
I think he shared some tool too. I've not heard of this one though. That's
Man,
neat.
Shall we gonna have to do a part 2, man? I mean,
I know, right?
There's just too much. There's too much. You know what I mean?
I do have a question for you though.
Yeah.
When it comes to just in general, like if you did not fall into the sourcing world and do sourcing and this was not an option or recruiting at all, what do you think you would be doing?
Well, I wanted to. So after I got out of the Peace Corps, because I had non-compete status, which means that for an entire year, if I applied for a job, a federal job for which I qualified, I would be the first in line. They would consider me over any other candidate. So it's a very good opportunity to get into some of the more difficult jobs. So I wanted to get into the Foreign Service, and I sat for the exam. I went through a bunch of. Anyway, long story short, I didn't go through with it and instead tried to pursue a few other opportunities. I just kind of got disheartened with the process and a few other things. I don't want to get into it. The point is, it was kind of bleh. After I was like totally wanting to do that. So then I applied for a couple of the agencies, the 3-letter agencies. And the first one that called me back sent me for a physical. I went to go to the physical, and the doctor said, you are colorblind. And I said, the fuck I am? And he's like, no, seriously, you can't see color. And I'm like, you're telling me that after 25 years, I all of a sudden can't see color? Like, I am looking at color right now. So he shows me this test that he says, on these circles, what number do you see? And I'm like, I see 3. And he goes, okay, if you see 3, you are colorblind. Everybody else sees 7.
Damn.
And I'm like, I don't see a 7. He's like, I know, because you're colorblind. So then he's like, you cannot work here. You cannot work at any of these.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? So I was disqualified from all of the agents.
Holy
Damn.
crap. That's insane.
Because I can't see color. And after a while, so I was angry. But after a while, I kind of was okay with it because it occurred to me that somebody would say, hey, Shally, what color was that car? And I would say green. You're not getting the joke.
Well, you can't see green, right? Is that like a...
Well, I would say what I thought was green.
Oh.
Doesn't mean it was necessarily green. And then I met my daughter. And my daughter can tell you the actual exact name of every color that has ever existed and will ever exist.
No shit.
By its name, yes.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, I get it now. So if you're an investigator or you're law enforcement and you have to tell somebody the color of something, you can't just say green and take a guess at it. It's got to be forest green, emerald green, Kelly green. I don't even know. I can't even tell you if it's red. I think it's green, but it could be blue or yellow or orange.
Wow.
I know it's not black, and that's about it. So I would have been doing that had I qualified. I just couldn't get in. I couldn't even be a fireman.
Damn.
Wow.
Can't be a cop, can't be a fireman, can't go to... Actually, I could have gone into the Army.
Okay.
But I couldn't have done Navy. I couldn't have done Air Force.
Wow.
I couldn't have done Marines. It's like, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do. Right, Dean? Can you be colorblind and be in the Navy?
No.
Why is that?
Very simple. If you're colorblind in the Navy, and depending on your job, if you happen to be looking at radar for aircraft and submarines, you can't see what they look like. You can't tell the difference between red and green, and those things matter.
You can't see the flags in flag signal school. You can't see the wires.
Shit.
Wow.
Red wire, green wire. There's so many things you can't do. But for some reason, I could do it. And I could join the Army as there was a particular job I could have done. But yeah, so I just never would have been able to get into any of those jobs. That's what I would have done. I do love scuba diving, like Derek. DZ and I shared that passion.
Neat.
He had about 1,000 dives more than me, and if you know Derek, you know he probably had about 10,000 dives.
Wow.
So he was a dive master. It was a dive master and a master diver.
I had no idea.
But I do dive trimix and what's called technical diving, which is helium and nitrogen mixed in with oxygen.
Oh.
So I would probably be doing that. I guess the answer to your question is scuba diving or somehow in some way, shape, or form.
Sourcing for trapeze artists.
Or she said no sourcing.
Yeah.
That was the
no
question.
sourcing.
Yeah, no sourcing. So yeah, scuba diving. I'll tell you what. Once you pass, there's the first atmosphere after 30 feet. The color red is completely gone, and after the second atmosphere after 60 feet, the color green is completely
Oh,
gone.
wow.
So once you go to 60 feet, it's basically all one color anyway.
Wow.
No idea.
Crazy.
Have you ever done or gotten the glasses, for like colorblind people? Like there's glasses that allow you to see.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried?
They gave me so much hope. So there's tritanopia, protanopia, and deuteranopia.
Okay.
The glasses can help 2 of the 3. I've got
Oh, of course. Well, it'll be on its way, probably.
Dang.
But my daughter can tell you any color in existence.
Wow.
Cool.
She's amazing. I take her to the art store, and every once in a while, I'll just kind of test her, like, what color is this? Like you hold it up, like, color is this? And she tells me the color, and then I read the label, and it's exactly
gosh.
spot on.
Like on a crown box?
So you could take her to a Lowe's, and you know how they have those color samples and stuff.
Yep, she can name every color.
Good God.
And match it. Get this. She can take paint, like basic paint, like gouache or acrylic, and mix whatever color you give
Oh
her.
my gosh.
Like freehand.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Just free, like she'll just add a little dip of this, a little dip, until eventually it's the exact same. I mean, she is
A
like
chemist.
a colorist.
That's awesome.
That is freaking
Yeah, it's
amazing,
amazing.
man.
She got my whatever I didn't get. Rods
she
or,
got an
cones or
extreme
whichever
version.
one. You got the opposite.
Wow.
Dude,
Yep.
that is crazy.
So I never go shopping without her now.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh. Yeah.
That's so
If
cool.
I ever need to like buy an outfit, or she
She writes
writes
down the colors for you so you can just bring a card. This is what I
Man.
need, please.
No,
Thank
I
you.
just got to take her with me because I will pick heinous matching stuff. I mean, like I'll be like the Big Lebowski matching clothes,
Oh my
I love it.
gosh.
pinstripe with plaid and
Pink and green.
pink and green and plaid and stripes.
Oh
awesome.
man, I don't even know where the heck Dean go, man. Hey, Shally, we got to have you on for a second part, because usually when we have good shows like this, we usually bring them back for part 2. So we'd love to have you back for part 2, and we'll talk some more game on sourcing and things like that. We'd love that. And yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you want to talk tech next time. I'll bring my
Heck yes, dude.
I'll bring my actual toolkit with
Yes.
Let's
Oh
go.
my gosh.
Hell
Teaser.
yeah.
me. Geek out with
Let's
y'all.
do it. Anyways, hey, thanks for coming on, Shally. We appreciate you. And thank you again. You'll always have a special place in my heart. For the Boolean and Brews podcast, we got Dean, CC, Shally. This is Chewy. You're watching the Boolean and Brews podcast, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Yo,
See ya.
bye.